Hello students, welcome to Phymen physics class. This is the lecture 7 of the vector learning series. So in this particular series or particular lecture, uh, I will discuss the vector in 2D and 3D in terms of Cartesian components. Just I will give you the way how we represent. আৰু এইটোৰ কাৰণে আমি কেনেকে কৰো গোটেই ডিটেইল ভিডিও মই লেকচাৰ 6 ত ভেক্টৰৰ যিটো লেকচাৰ 6 ইয়াৰ আমাৰ আগৰ ভিডিও তাত আমি ডিটেইল ইয়াৰ ওপৰত ডিসকাস কৰিছো গতিকে সেই ভিডিওটো লিংক মই এই ভিডিওটোৰ ডেসক্ৰিপচন বক্সত দি দিম তোমালোকে গৈ চাব পাৰিবা সো ইয়াত আমি জাস্ট তাৰ এটা সামাৰি হিচাপে কেনেকে 2D আৰু 3D আমি এটা ভেক্টৰক ৰিপ্ৰেজেন্ট কৰিব পাৰো in terms of their Cartesian components. Okay, so what we will study in this particular lecture is that representation of a vector in 2D and 3D in terms of Cartesian components, just how to write a vector, how to represent a vector in 2D and 3D in terms of Cartesian components. Next, what we will see, how to calculate the magnitude of such a vector. Okay, then how to find a unit vector along such a vector. So let's start. So a vector in 2D means in a plane. Okay, so a vector in 2D can be resolved into two mutually perpendicular components. Mutually perpendicular components. Okay, so how do we represent? Suppose this is your r vector. Okay, and this r vector and this is your a vector. R vector and this is your a vector, this is your b vector. This r vector is having some component along x, and if r vector is making an angle theta with the x-axis, then its component along x is written as r cos of theta. Okay, and its component along y is written as r sin theta. Now in the vector form it can be written as r cos theta I cap and r sin theta j cap. Okay, so overall the r vector can be written as r cos of theta I cap plus r sin of theta j cap. Okay, this theta is the angle between the vector and the x-axis. Now if theta is what, this theta is angle between this theta is this one, then this is 90 minus theta, then this can be also written as r of cos 90 minus theta j cap, right? That means this theta is the angle between the vector and the direction in which we need the component. Okay, vector means vector r and the direction in which we need the component. Now if we write this, always take theta with this angle. Okay, this is the angle. If this is the angle, always take cos of this angle, cos of theta, where this theta should be, always the angle between the vector r and the direction in which we need the component. Okay, let me take one example. Okay, let me take one example. You see, if this is your vector r, suppose this vector is having a magnitude r vector with components magnitude 2. Okay, 2. Okay, its magnitude is 2. Then if this is my angle 60 degree, then this angle is what, 90 minus 60. Okay, what we can write is this r vector can be written as, okay, 2 cos of, for the x component or karone moi ki kori 2 cos of theta, kar theta lom r vector to aru x direction or major angle to lom cos of 60 degree plus again 2 আকৌ cos এ ল'ম কাৰ মাজৰ এংগল ল'ম angle between r vector and y component তো কিমান হ'ব 90 degree minus 60 degree so again 2 cos 60 degree to I cap হ'ব into j cap হ'ব plus 2 cos 90 minus the sine so it is sine 60 degree j cap is it so this is how we represent a particular vector in 2D in two mutually perpendicular components okay so now the question is okay so now we know how to write the vector in 2D okay how to write a vector in 2D so we write a vector in 2D as the vector A suppose it is a ax I cap plus ay j cap okay so now what is the resultant vector here a is the resultant of ax and ay so what is the magnitude of this a vector if it is given like this then it is always how much ax square plus ay square okay now its direction is given by the angle tan of this theta okay tan theta is by ay by ax where this theta is the angle made by vector a with x okay now if we have a vector like this suppose you have a vector a is equal to 2 I cap 3 I cap plus 4 j cap what will be the magnitude of this vector this will be 3 square plus 4 square okay this is root over 25 with this 5 okay again this direction for the direction tan theta this is a theta angle made by the vector a with axis x that is ax by ay here ax is 3 I cap ৰ লগত যদি থাকিব সেইটো x হ'ব y cap ৰ লগত যদি সেইটো y হ'ব so ay কিমান হ'ব 4 হ'ব tan theta is equal to 4 by 3 so this theta is equal to 4 by 3 that means it is 57 degree right 57 so this is all about the vector in 2D now for a vector in 3D now for a vector in 3D you see let me take three different axes let me name it x then it is y then it is z then may have a vector like this in 3D suppose this vector is r then this r vector is having the three component along three mutually perpendicular axes let it be alpha then this is making an angle beta with this then this gamma with this z axis okay so here also this much is the x component of this particular vector this much is the y component of this particular vector and this much is the z component of vector so here will be we can write this rxi cap plus ryj cap plus rz k cap okay now here also the resultant vector is written as by which formula rx square plus ry square plus rz square okay now this r vector if its direction is asked then what we can write it is written in the form of the direction cosines means the cos of the angle made by this vector with the axis okay that is cos alpha what will be the cos alpha r cos alpha because x component is written as r cos alpha so cos alpha is given as rx by r okay rx by r next cos beta which is the angle beta angle made by the vector with the y-axis that is ry by r and cos gamma it is rz by r okay so for example if we have a vector a 2 I cap plus 3 j cap plus 5 k cap. Okay. So what will be the magnitude of this vector? Only you need to square the components and sum it and take the roots. Okay. 3 square plus 5 square. So it will give you 4 plus 9 plus 25. So this will be equal to how much? 13 plus 25, it is 38, right? Root over 38. So this is how we represent a vector in 3D and 2D. So now let's move to the how we can represent a 2D vector and how we can write this vector, this 2D vector. How we can write the unit vector of any vector along that particular direction. Okay. So let me take one example and make you understand. Okay. So you see, let me take one example in 2 dimensional. A vector is, I am saying it is, okay, it is A equal to 3 I cap, sorry, it is 4 I cap plus 3 j cap plus 3 j cap. Okay, then what is the unit vector of vector A? It is very, very important. What is the unit vector of vector A? How we will calculate this unit vector? How will you find the unit vector? And unit vector will give you the direction of that particular vector, right? Okay. So how we will write this? According to the formula of the unit vector of any vector is written as the whole vector divided by magnitude of this vector, right? Now magnitude of this vector is how much? Magnitude of this vector is written as root over 4 square plus 3 square. That means it is 16 plus 9. So it is root over 25 is equal to 5, right? Now, if we put this in this particular formula, we will have what is the vector? The vector is 4 I cap plus 3 j cap. What is the result magnitude of this vector? Is 5. So what is the unit vector? The unit vector is 4 by 5 I cap plus 3 by 5 j cap. So this is the unit vector of vector A. This is the unit vector of vector A. Okay. কি কৰিব লাগিব আমি ওপৰত গোটেই ভেক্টৰটো লিখিব লাগিব তলত আমি ভেক্টৰটোৰ মেগনিটিউড লিখিব লাগিব similarly if we have a vector a in 3D okay suppose 2 I cap plus j cap plus 3 k cap so unit vector of this vector is written as a vector by magnitude of vector a so what will be the magnitude of this vector in 3D we know that it is 2 square plus 1 square plus 3 square so it is 4 plus 1 plus 9 so it is root over 14 so unit vector is nothing but you write the whole vector above 2 I cap plus j cap plus 3 k cap then divided it by root 14 so this will be your unit vector along this so I hope you have understood this and before watching this you go to my lecture number 6 okay where I have explained these in detail so I will put the link in my description box চ' তোমালোকে চাবা আৰু চাই কেনে এইটো ভিডিঅ' চাবা, চাই তোমালোকে নিউমাৰিকেল প্ৰব্লেম কৰিবৰ কাৰণে যত্ন কৰিবা। আৰু মই নেক্সট ভিডিঅ'ত ইয়াৰ ওপৰত নিউমাৰিকেল প্ৰব্লেমছ লৈ আহিম। আৰু বাকী আৰু কি লৈ আহিম, মাল্টিপ্লিকেশ্যন অফ ভেক্টৰ্ছ তাৰ ওপৰত ভিডিঅ' লৈ আহিম। চ' কিপ ৱাচিং, থেংক ইউ অল।